Pushenditi Motra.
Music in Northern Trime podcast.
I'm Lejla.
I'm Leonardo.
Welcome home.
How are you?
I don't
Unemployed?
Unemployed. I did, yeah. Big
Tell
life
us
update.
what happened.
I quit my job
Well done.
last week, Monday.
Hide.
Hide, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
But like equal parts shitting myself and also very excited
Yeah.
for what's going to come for me next. It was a big decision to make.
I know.
Huge. You know what I went through making this decision. Yeah, on Monday, everything came to a head where it was like, yeah, the time's now to make the big leap, the big jump. I went into work, I handed in my notice, resigned from my job. Adios. It's time for me to put all of my time and energy into my work now instead of working for other people and focusing on other people's visions. The time has come.
Yeah, personally, I think it's the best thing you've done for yourself.
Do you think?
It's scary. It's so scary because you're losing that comfortability cushion.
Yeah, a whole income, you know.
Yeah, it's so scary. But it was draining you. It was taking your creativity.
Completely.
I saw firsthand. I was a witness.
Yeah, completely.
I will give my witness statement in front of the jury.
Go for it.
It just took away so much from you. Your creativity, your love. I wouldn't say passion, but it was more like it kind of squeezed you.
Exactly. I think the reality is going into supporting victims, going into the sector, working on victim services front line as a survivor. You don't really know, you can't be as prepared. Like, what's the right way to say it, right? Nothing can prepare you for actually the reality of working frontline with victims, no matter how far along in your journey you are as a survivor. And for me, I kept coming up against the same power imbalances, the same structures, the same. You can be as highly skilled as you want as someone who supports victims, like whether you're an IDVA or a support worker. But the reality is you're still at the mercy of the perpetrator if they are in the victim's life. And for me, it was just becoming too triggering over and over again. And then the power structures within the sector itself were also very triggering. There was a lot of power imbalances in there as well. I think if the job itself had been just a little bit stressful, I would have probably stayed a little bit longer had it not been for everything else that goes on in the sector that kind of takes away your autonomy as a practitioner. I probably would have stayed longer, but it came to a head where I could not deal with the way that it was impacting my mental health, my emotional health. And yeah, like you say, it was draining the life out of me. And I felt I got to a point where I was constantly questioning myself. You know, like I stopped making content. I stopped even being myself on the pod, stopped being myself on social media. Kept thinking like, am I saying the right things? Is this really what I mean? Is this really like how I feel? Like, do I even know what I'm talking about? And essentially none of that was true. But what had happened was, with the role and the sector itself and you have to understand what goes into this working with victims. It's not just one thing. It is the statutory agencies like the police, social services. It's like family courts, criminal courts, civil courts, the structures within the organizations themselves that you work for, other organizations you have to work alongside. It's a multi-agency way of working, and in every single structure there's power and control. And when that is lauded over practitioners and over victims, it strips you of your own autonomy. And that's what kept triggering me over and over again. And I thought, I can't do this anymore because I left my ex-husband so that I don't feel this way.
And
I started this podcast so that I never feel isolated again from my own community. And yet there I was in a role feeling all of those things again, like being triggered over and over again. And even if it had just been for the sake of my mental health, it was the right decision for me.
Because you almost felt, and I said this to you, it almost feels like you're in a relationship with a perpetrator in your role.
For real, that's exactly what it feels like. And that's because you're constantly coming up against power structures, constantly, no matter how you look at it. When you're trying to support women in this work, there is barrier after barrier after barrier. Now, whether that's the perpetrator themselves, whether it's social services, whether it's maybe the organizations you're working for, there's always something getting in the way. There's so much red tape involved as well, and so much issues with funding within the sector. They're actually essentially, for a lot of support workers, like IDVAs and violence prevention officers, for violence prevention practitioners, there's not a lot of job security in the sector, because you get funded for a project and that funding can be for 1 or 2 years. And then after that, essentially, the service can just make you redundant. That's it. Goodbye. After you've given everything to it, you can just be made redundant. There's not a lot of job security or financial security in the sector, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
Like, I went into the sector hungry for experience. I really wanted to see what it was like to run a service. I wanted to see everything from the inside out, right? And I did. And I think I've learned so much about what I wouldn't do, and so much about what can I do different. For example, when Trime becomes a victim service and it is here to help Albanian women in our community, I now know all the things I wouldn't do.
Exactly.
And based off that, we're going to build a service of how to run a victim service appropriately and safely.
But isn't it so sad that even in these kind of services, you can't run away from capitalism?
No, you can't.
You're making money
You're
from
at
victims.
the mercy of capital. You're at the mercy of money, no matter where you turn.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's my point exactly. Was there were times in my job role where I actually felt really overwhelmed with my workload, right? And the point of where I felt really overwhelmed with my workload, and sometimes it wasn't even that I'd reach my capacity in the workload. So, for example, if you're an IDVA and your capacity is like 50 cases, that's one support worker looking after 50 women. That is crazy, right? And
crazy.
yeah, and the sector will max you out. They'll max you out and give you more. Yeah, and I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen it. It's not just me. This isn't just my experience. Like, I know so many people who work in the sector that share the same experience. And I think to work in the sector as a survivor, it pretty much is sink or swim. It really is sink or swim. Like, one of my best friends, she does the same job role as me, right? She's phenomenal at it. She loves it. She thrives working with the victims. So she doesn't have the same experience as me. Whereas for me, it wasn't right for me.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for me to accept that, because I thought I was the right person for the job.
Yeah.
I went into the sector thinking I'm never going to work with perpetrators. I only want to support victims. That's all I want to do. This job is going to be right for me. And actually, the reality was that this role was not right for me. I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to learn. I'm grateful I had the opportunity for the experience to see what it takes to run a service, because I will take that experience now and bring it into Trime.
Exactly.
And bring it into everything that we do going forward. So I'm really grateful for that. And whilst the role itself didn't end up being right for me, I still know that I was right as a practitioner for the women that I served and for the service that I worked for. But you do get to a point where you're like, how is this serving me now?
Yeah.
What growth is left here for me? There was no growth left for me.
It's almost like a blessing in disguise, because now you've gone in, you outgrew it.
Yeah.
You completely
outgrew
it.
I outgrew it a long time ago.
This was like, we started the podcast, we started Trime August last year. By January, when like we were even more close, I was like, I literally said to you, I was like, you've outgrown it. But you needed to come to that point. You needed to also see what everyone around you is seeing, which is you've outgrown it, you've learned, you've done bigger and better things.
Absolutely.
And your place is not there anymore.
No, it's not.
It was great for you to go in and see everything, like you said, and learn and take that and apply it in Trime and other projects that you're doing. But it's not worth staying there.
No, not at all. And it was 100% worthwhile. I will never take back these last 2 years at all. It was worthwhile because the experience and the lessons that I've learned from it, I will now take that into, like, as I say, like in everything that we do going forward. But essentially, where there was no growth and development left for me, you get to a point where you're like, something's got to give, because I can't keep re-traumatizing myself over and over with this work if it's not serving me anymore. And it was hard for me to accept that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, but I guess
I've been witness. I'm telling you, I've been the witness.
I'm trying to articulate it, but I don't know how. Sometimes there's certain things that you just can't articulate, certain emotions that you can't quantify. You just cannot. I can't put a value on how I feel or how I felt, because I don't feel like this anymore. But like, it was turmoil for me. I've cried over and over again. I'm going to get emotional, but I've cried over and over again, because when you think that something is right for you, and then you have to accept that it's not right for you. When I started to see that maybe working in the violence prevention side was a better role for me, that's when I knew that my time was up.
Yeah.
And because I've realized that working with victims wasn't getting to the root cause
Yeah.
of gender-based violence and abuse.
Yeah.
That actually, in order to get to the root cause of violence and abuse towards women and girls, it's being at the forefront with the work of how we actually change behavior going forward. It's not the women who are at fault of gender-based violence and abuse towards them. It's the men, it's the perpetrators. That's where the problem lies. And a lot of my work now going forward, I want it to be about systemic change. I want it to be about structural change. A huge announcement, because we've not even recorded since this happened. I think about a month ago. It was definitely about 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? I had a meeting with someone from the Greater London Authority, so from the GLA. And we got in this meeting, and I really wasn't anticipating much. I wanted to share with them about what we're doing with Trime and how important this work is for Albanian women. And they were from the migration sector team. And we're having this conversation, and the person I was having the meeting with was like, we've actually been waiting for someone with these specialist expertise to come along. And we would really love it if you could join us on our migration sector advisory panel. And I was like,
what?
Huh?
Me?
What? Like, because I wasn't expecting it, right? But essentially, through the work that we've done here with the podcast and through my other work as well, they'd seen the impact that it was having, in particular in migrant communities like ours. And it was a no-brainer. It was an absolute no-brainer for me to say yes, and an absolute privilege to be able to serve the community in this way. And I cannot wait actually to get my teeth stuck in on the work that's involved with it. And I will absolutely be taking our voices into these spaces now, 100%. So everybody who's listened to this podcast, you have to tell us what your biggest barriers are in terms of being migrant women. And I'm going to bring your voices into these big boardrooms with people who are in a lot of influential and systemic power. And we're going to create real change together.
Especially now.
Yeah, now more than ever.
Especially in this situation, that
that
we're in.
Well, this is the thing. I think like all of these good things were happening, these like amazing things were happening, and we were growing outside of our job roles. And that's when I started to realize that my purpose is no longer here in this particular job role. I've outgrown it. I've outgrown this role. I've outgrown this organization. It's time for me to move on. Essentially, I outstayed my welcome.
And
I outstayed my welcome.
It's hard to fight with yourself.
It's
so hard. When you realize it, you've realized it, but then the other part of you is like, no, I can't. So you're fighting yourself, but you know what the right decision is.
Yeah, I think I knew all along.
Oh, Lejla.
It's hard to make decisions big like this, because the reality is we don't have any funding in Trime. There's no money in Trime. Everything we've done up until now has been off our own backs, right? We've paid for the... No, I'm fine. We've paid for the studio time ourselves. We've paid for the banners ourselves. We've paid for whenever we've had meetings with our volunteers, when we've delivered training, we've paid for those meeting rooms ourselves. Like everything we've done, we've paid for ourselves, right?
These postcards.
We paid for everything, like the workshops where we've had to pay for the space. We've done that ourselves for materials and things like that. So I'm not doing this with with any sponsorship, with any funding, with any financial backing. And that also includes my other work as well. I'm doing this because if I don't do this now, we're never going to be able to get to the next step, to bring an income into everything that we do here and my other work as well. But in all honesty, I think the reason why it was the hard decision for me to make was giving up a full income brought up a lot of shit for me from my childhood. And I think in our community, we don't talk about money. We don't talk about finances.
It's like Voldemort.
Yeah, it's like, it's Moro, right? It's Moro to do so. You don't talk about money. And growing up, the reality is, growing up, we didn't have money in my family. Like, we grew up on a council estate on benefits. And I had a lot of shame around that.
Oh, Lejla.
Because I watched everyone else in the community. Like, everybody had their own businesses.
Yeah.
Everybody was making money. Like, it didn't look like anyone else was suffering. And I remember thinking, I feel so embarrassed because how comes we're the ones living on a council estate? By the way, just disclaimer, I don't see, that was when I was young. There is no shame in living on a council estate and being on benefits. Like, absolutely zero shame, but I was young and I didn't know any better. And watching everyone else in the community seemingly thrive financially whilst we weren't, I've carried a lot of insecurity about that in my life.
But it also creates a really bad relationship with money.
Oh my God, it absolutely did. I had no money management skills for the longest time in my life. It wasn't until I met Dan and I saw how she managed her finances, and I was like, wow, like she was like rap tap tap. She knew exactly where her money was going, what bills was coming out, where all her money was. She is so smart in terms of investment and things like that, right? And I was like, I want to be like that. Nobody's educated me ever how to do these things, how to be financially smart, right? And I had to teach myself. Like, I said to Dan, I was like, can you help me? Like, can you teach me how to do this? And she did. And then at some point, like, she can't do it for me. I have to do it for myself.
Yeah.
And I had to teach myself, like, how to manage my own finances, how to manage my own money. I was 30 years old, for fuck's sake. It shouldn't have taken me to the age of 30 to be financially literate like that, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember growing up, watching everyone else having all these nice things, these nice big homes here, back home, and thinking, I never want to be like that, right? I never want to be like that. And so when I did become finally financially stable, I'm telling you, that was only in my 30s, in my early 30s. I'm only 36. I'm acting like it was a decade ago. For me, it felt like the biggest sense of freedom, because it was like, oh, finally, like, I'm not like my child, this is not like my childhood. I'm creating a different childhood for Bella, and she's never going to know what it's like to struggle and to suffer. And when I started to create that stability, I never would have imagined that I'd then like go back on myself. And I've had to teach myself that I'm not going back on myself.
You're not.
By taking this move and giving up an income, it's not about going back on myself. It's about creating something new and actually creating a future where there is a lot more financial stability long term for me. I was talking to Dan a lot about making this decision, because genuinely I feel like this is the most terrifying choice I've made in a really long time. And I was saying to her, like, we're talking about my childhood and things like that, because essentially this kept coming back to my childhood. This kept coming back to that financial insecurity I felt as a child. Listen, skinna hiek me thon kina book kina schoon kosov, like, just me thon skinna hiek sina con. I wasn't a fucking orphan.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from, because it's not about, oh, skinna hunger book, or says, we didn't go Kosovo, or say like we don't have money for clothes. But it's more the fact that, for example, I would go to school after summer holidays. We didn't have British citizenship. I would go to school after summer holidays. All we did summer holidays is clean. That's it. Just clean.
I love our trauma responses. It's always to laugh.
Just clean. And everyone would be like, oh, I went to Spain.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw my family in Portugal.
Yeah.
I didn't know that going to like the Pazar, and if anyone knows, like the back in the day Pazar in the Brent Cross, we used to always go. That's where all the Albanians were, kind of all the mums and stuff. I thought that was fun. And now looking back at it, it's more like we were just surviving. So it's, I understand where you're coming from, because you see everyone else going forwards, and then you see yourself and you're like, but why? But
why us? Like, why is it us? Why was this
exactly?
And it really has this huge impact on you when you're a child, when you're watching everyone else at school have like nice new tracksuits and nice new trainers and like all of these nice things, and you weren't experiencing the same in yourself. And It's not to say that I'm not grateful for all of the sacrifices that my mum made. My mum made a shit ton of sacrifices, and I will forever be grateful to her. But none of that was her fault. Do you know what I mean? I don't blame my mum for nothing. She did everything she could to make sure that we were surviving, to make sure that we were okay, right? So this is nothing about her parenting whatsoever, and not that I feel like I need to justify that, but this is about how the impact it has on me as an Albanian girl growing up to now being an adult.
Yeah.
And how I then manage the rest of my life financially. But so going back to this conversation I was having with Dan, I was like, like it feels like I'm taking so many steps back and giving up a whole income and like how am I going to survive financially? And she was like, you're looking at this all wrong. She was like, you have to see it as you are the asset, because I was saying to her, I'd hope to be able to invest in an asset, maybe like buy another home somewhere, have that a little bit of financial security, right? And essentially Dan was like, but you are the asset. And by doing this, you are investing in yourself.
Exactly.
And she just helped me shift my mentality around it. And she was like, you give so much of your time to Trime, to other work, to your day job. And somehow you've made your whole life, all of the work that you do is essentially on your lived experience. It's your life manifested into all of this.
Exactly.
And yet you've managed to separate yourself from it as if you're not worth the investment. And that shook me. Like it completely changed my mentality. And my poor fucking girlfriend, bruv, like for the last 6 weeks, she heard nothing but this same conversation.
Yeah.
Actually, it's been a good few months since I started actually entertaining the idea. She's heard nothing but like, but she's been there. She's been there and she's really just like held my hand and listened to me no matter what. And she's been there giving me advice. She's just let me cry. She's just let me figure it out for myself, whilst also trying to guide me through the decision-making process. But essentially, even she's like, this work is ruining you. I'd lost my complete spark.
Yeah, 100%. You lost your complete spark. And ultimately, you and Dan are a team, just like, in any good relationship, normal relationship, because that is normal and it should be normal, shouldn't be special. You're a team, and, the value that me and Dan see in you is, you are an asset. You are the asset, just like I'm the asset. But we're never taught investing in our own selves is the biggest thing you can do in your life, because we were brought up, you have to do this, you have to do that, you are this to this person, you are that to that person, you are the nurturer, you are the caregiver, you are this. Whatever you want to, doesn't matter. If you want to invest in yourself, doesn't matter.
And it's almost like as if we're not worthy of creating financial stability and financial freedom. And essentially with all of my work, it's not even about making so much money that I'm rich, filthy rich coming out my ears. I want freedom. And a lot of this has been about looking at myself as well and taking responsibility for me. Manfond, I'm not manageable. I can't be managed. I can't work for other people.
I know.
I can't work for other people.
I think we say that for 80% of us Albanian women. We just can't be managed
by some. And that's what was happening. I think being in a sector where there's all these power plays in the structures in the system stripped me of autonomy, and I couldn't work that way. I couldn't work that way. And so now I have to do this for myself to build a future that has so much freedom in it that I don't have to worry about anyone telling me what to do, how to work, how to do my work, I get to make those decisions. Well, you, because I literally can't function without you. But the difference is, Leo, is we don't work. It's not like I work for you or you work for. There's no hierarchy. No. We work together.
We work together because we know what we're doing. We know, for example, I owe you so much.
You don't owe me anything.
Sure.
Absolutely
not. It's not even that, but it's more like, I mean, I'm just gonna sound cringy, but you came into my life and changed it. And vice versa, probably.
Absolutely. But that's my point. This isn't a one-way thing. No. It's like it was a team effort.
Exactly. And our vision is a joined vision. And I've got skills like organizational. I've got like I genuinely think
I've never known anyone, who organizes something like you do.
When
I don't even know the passwords to my emails. I don't. As we were right, I don't know the passwords to my emails. Leo knows them.
You know, sometimes when Lejla asks me something that I know she knows in her subconscious, I just have to look at her, so I can process my own feelings before helping her. Because sometimes I'm like, this bitch, like, I am done, bruv.
You know, you always get those memes and it's like, how are you the CEO when you don't even know how to set up an Excel spreadsheet? That's me.
That's you, bro. How do you connect the printer to the laptop? That is literally what I wait for you to ask me. But
we're going off on tangent, but when I was like, I need to create a Canva post. And then I was like, it's fine. You don't need to do it. I'm going to do it myself.
And I left you on purpose because I did it on purpose because I was so busy. And I was like, I can do it for her, but let's just see where this takes us. I just want to see.
Like, after half a day of like wasting my time on this one Canva post, I was like, Leo, I can't do this.
Yeah, you just put the text in and you were like, Leo, I don't understand.
I don't
get the formatting.
It might as well just be in like alien language for me. But my point is that when you're working in a team, it shouldn't feel like you are working for. It should never feel like someone has power over you. It should feel like you're all working together alongside each other. And a friend of mine, her name is Sean. She was the one that I was talking to her about all. When I tell you there is not one person in my close life, in my close circle, that I've not spoken to about this, I mean it. And, I was saying to her what was going on. And she was like, essentially, it should never feel like you're working for someone else. No. It should feel like you're working together alongside each other.
Exactly.
And that kind of, again, all of these like little nuggets of knowledge and advice that people have been giving me the last like 5 to 6 weeks have helped me or given me the space to make this decision. And I think the reality of thinking my dream, my vision is going to run away from me if I don't do this now became more scary than the thought of giving up my job and give up a consistent income. 9 to 5 is not going anywhere. No. It will always be there.
Always be here. The whole world is set up in a capitalistic world.
Yeah.
And I relate so much to you because when you work so hard for something, because obviously we work opposite jobs.
Yeah, complete opposite jobs. Yeah.
We work opposite jobs, but I actually love where I work. Like, I love the work that I do, but I don't like the setup because it almost feels like I'm giving every ounce, every space in my brain and I'm feeding it in, but I'm not getting anything in return. And this is not like, oh, I should receive some, the blah, blah, blah. But it's more of a huge imbalance just because I'm a girl. That's purely it. So when I look at Trime, when I look at working with Trime, working, on your other projects, because you've so kindly let me through everything. You just trust me.
Yeah, literally.
I feel so honored. But the way I see Trime is what dictates what we do.
Yeah.
Trime is the boss. That's just how I see it. And I respect it so much because my analogy has always been, if you do not respect the business project, whatever you've got on, if you do not respect it, it will never respect you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though it's kind of like, Trime is a physical thing, but it's physical because of both me and you and everything we've worked together.
It's a manifestation of who we are,
exactly. And if we don't respect it, then how are we respecting ourselves?
Absolutely.
We will never get it back. And that's just the way I see business. I see business in such a spiritual way. If you do not respect it, it will never respect you back.
Absolutely.
And that's how I kind of work in all of my projects. But like you, I'll be following you soon anyways, but it's, soon come.
It will. And this isn't
TBC.
This isn't even a Kismet thing. This is like, it will. It's just about the right time.
Exactly.
And essentially now it's sink or swim, my guy. Like sink or swim for us.
Sink or swim. I've got
We
a car.
either
We'll
make
all
this-
live in a car. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, traveling vlogs soon come from a car. We'll just film the podcast from the car. It is what it is. It won't come to that because I have 100% trust in everything we do. It won't come to that. But, you know.
Yeah. Essentially, like, I think where I got so comfortable in doing that job and that having that consistent income, it was a bit like some of the stuff, it was like, how to say it? Not like, oh, we'll do it tomorrow, but you think you don't have, you literally don't have the time. And where the job's so draining, so emotionally draining, you then don't have much left to give to complete the tasks that you need to complete to get your own work to the next level. And I know that I have to do this in order to get us to the next level, in order to be able to actually bring in an income for us to take Trime forward.
Exactly. I completely agree. And thank you for sacrificing, for being a sacrificial lamb.
You can all thank me later.
But it's so true. If you are completely drained and your brain is completely drained, how are you supposed to even think about relatable content? How are you supposed to even come into the podcast and speak about topics that relate to thousands, millions of Albanian women? How are you supposed to do that when you don't have a clear head? Because all you've got in your head is X, Y, and Z list, X, Y, and Z list, X, Y. That has no relation to Trime at all, but it's been...
But it has an impact. It has a knock-on effect.
Huge.
And essentially, what was happening to me was I started feeling like how can I be relatable when I'm still stuck in this power imbalance? Like I started to feel like, how have I gone backwards?
You almost feel like a hypocrite.
Yeah, it's just like I just feel like, how have I gone backwards? You know, like, and it was killing my creativity. 100% put, like there was nothing left in me creatively, and I'm a really creative person.
I know.
Like that's how all of my work is born. Is because like I can't even explain to how my brain works here, but I see something, like I have a vision, and then I just work backwards. With Trime, I'm not here. I'm in 10 years down the line.
Same.
I'm not here. Like this is just what I'm working backwards currently.
Yeah, but that's how you have to do it.
Yeah.
That's how I'm just here imagining all the systems and how it all works.
Absolutely.
But that's why we work so well together. And that's why I guess, you know, that's why we've got such a strong team, me and you. We do everything together. Trime relies on only me and you, really.
Yeah.
But to take Trime to the next level, we need to have space.
Absolutely.
As in our normal lives, in our brains. If we don't, we both, you know, we both self-diagnosed ADHD people. Yeah. I'm just an organized freak.
I don't need an official diagnosis.
No.
I know it.
We both know it. I'm just an organized freak. So I think I've got AUDHD, whatever it is, because I like structure and I like... But I'm also...
You like everything black and white.
Oh, yeah. For me, my whole life is black and white. There is no in between. Like
mine is complete chaos.
For me, it's either that or that. I do not, because I can't thrive in chaos. Yeah. I thrive in like just like simple. You've seen my barniz. It's just so there's space, white space everywhere because it has to be like
at home.
that.
There's like a space for everything and everything in its space. Yeah,
exactly. But I'm a huge creative person when it comes to designing because I love colors. I don't know what it is. I just love creating stuff out of nothing, but I love systems. And that's why Trime works so well because the chaos and the calm come together and they create. It's like the eye of the hurricane. Literally, that's it.
The best way to describe it is I set a light to everything and you come behind
with a fire extinguisher. And leave both of us with just like Tim and like the powder, whatever it is.
And then after the smoke settles, we're like, oh, actually, that was all right. That worked.
That worked. That worked. But that's why it works so well.
Yeah, and the crux of my work, the crux of who I am, I've always been a disruptor.
Yeah.
I've never just done things just because that's how you do it. Yeah. I think that's very fucking clear.
Yeah.
but because of the emotional baggage that I was carrying from my job, I was doubting that. I was like, hang on, what am I doing here? What was my why? It was almost as if I'd lost my why.
Yeah.
My why is that I don't care about disruption. That in fact, in order to have change, you need to be disruptive.
Exactly.
You cannot do things killy-milly because nobody's going to listen to you.
No.
And everybody's just going to placate you, right?
Yeah.
No one, the reason why people listen to Trime is because it's disruptive.
Yeah.
That's the reason why our videos go viral over and over again. But this disruption isn't just for the sake of it, just to create some viral moment. It's because it's needed.
Yeah.
And it's because it's authentically how we feel.
Exactly.
And where, because of my workload, it was being suppressed, how can I bring my authentic self into all of the work that I do? You can't.
No, it's hard. It's so difficult because you feel like you're in chains almost. But I guess this is why Trime works so well. Because like you said, we're authentic. We don't actually give a shit.
I don't give a shit, yeah.
We don't care.
I'm not going to lie.
We speak our mind.
Yeah.
Like, I have conversations. I had one yesterday. I have conversations with the family and they're like, but it's not like this. Men. And
I'm like, of course. Always a man.
I'm like, and I literally said straight to their face, I'm like, I don't mean to offend you, but if you take it offense, I don't care and strip. But I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't actually care. I don't
care.
actually care, yeah.
I'm a woman. I understand better than you. When you grow women parts, then you can come to me. Until then...
Do you know what? Yeah, I can't wait now till after recording. She's going to tell me exactly what happened.
I can't wait to tell you. Because I was just like... What?
But do you know what? I was editing our episode, which should be out in a couple of days. By then, you guys would have heard it.
Yeah.
But it's our 33rd episode, by the way.
Mashallah.
And that was me 1 week into my sick leave. And I was noticing how I was so free and our conversation was just flowing. Like, at the time, I didn't see it whilst we were whilst we were recording, but I cannot explain to you how much it was one of my favorite episodes editing.
Yeah, because you told me. I can't wait to watch it.
I was cracking up, like the things we were saying. And some of the things I was like, Bella does this now. Apparently this means like we're eating, apparently, like we're doing a good job.
I saw this on Project Runway, so that's why I do this as well.
I don't know. My daughter says it's cool, so this is what...
6, 7, whatever that is. I don't know what it is.
And I was watching that back and I was like, oh my God, just 1 week away from the role. And I was so much more relaxed.
Exactly.
Even if I didn't feel it in the moment, I was a lot more relaxed. And, you know, having that time away, I had a whole month away. I think now we're like, week 5 or 6 since I went on sick leave. I'm back to the role until I complete my notice period. But I'm out. Like mentally, I'm out. Yeah. And the second I handed my resignation in, oh my God, I felt so free. Yeah. I felt so free that as equal as this is scary for me, I'm so excited.
Yeah, because your shoulders relaxed.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah, now I feel like I can breathe.
You think of like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to send this message to Leah. She can do. I need Leah to do this. I need Leah to do that.
The annoying thing now is like, I'm going to be sending you voice notes at 3 a.m. Like, Leah, we need to do this. Yeah. And then I'll be like, oh, you don't need to respond now.
Yeah, of course not. 3 a.m. It's a good thing that I leave my phone do not disturb when I sleep. So.
And I know that. So I know that if I message you at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to see it anyway.
No, unless I'm awake. But the thing is I always say it's better to have one of us like that than none of us like that. Because we always take turns. I don't know how, but one of us is always doing a bit better than the other.
We trust each other. So I know you understand what's in my brain.
Yeah,
you
I get it.
Yeah. And the same way that, for example, we haven't even told you about going up to Bolton and how amazing that went. And the same way that you trust me to get up on stage in front of 500 people to tell them about, you know, my work and everything that we're doing here with Team Man. Like, I literally introduced a podcast in front of 500 people on stage.
And none of them were Albanian.
Not a single one. But all of them were interested.
Hey,
exactly. But that's my point. We trust each other and there's equity in our relationship that you knew I wasn't going to fuck that up. You knew, like,
even though you were panicking.
Oh my god.
God.
But yeah, because you're like, so much is riding on this.
She was like to me and Bella the night before, she's like, I'm packing up. And
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing this.
I just said to her, I was like, because I'm not driving you. The car's staying right there. She was like, oh, okay then. I'm gonna have to go on there.
That was just last minute nerves, but essentially you trust me to do that side of it, you know, and I trust you to do the other side. And that's why our friendship has manifested into a business.
Yeah.
Just because we don't have an income in it yet does not mean that it's not a business.
We
are manifesting it.
Yes, we are manifesting. Our relationship is priceless. Trime is priceless because it's changed both our
Absolutely,
lives.
it's invaluable.
All of our experiences are priceless. The road trip to Bolton was completely priceless. I loved it. I loved it. And just that time that we had in the car, we were like,
oh my god,
oh, should we go here? Should we do this? We should plan this. We should do that.
We planned like our 5 to 10 year trajectory.
And that's the thing, and that's why, you know, I know even though we've got no income, we've got each other. It's so cringy to say, but we do, and that's priceless.
Absolutely.
Because without one another, we wouldn't even be here.
Yeah. But also the thing is we can sit here, like we're in this toxic like culture, and I don't mean Albanian culture, I mean like online culture where it's like positive mental attitude. I find that the most toxic thing online, right? And how you're just manifest.
It's
Listen,
not real life.
manifestation means nothing if you're not out there doing the work.
Exactly.
It's one thing to say, yeah, we're going to turn Trime into this huge worldwide organization that is going to help Albanian women everywhere, but if we're not doing the work, that's never going to happen.
Exactly.
An idea is worthless if you're not putting the work in to actually make it happen.
Exactly.
It's great having an idea. Ideas are great. What are you doing to make that come to life?
A lot of hard work. A lot. Only I know how much hard work I put for everything that we before Bolton. That was, I'm still recovering.
Oh, you think we both are?
I'm still recovering.
Yeah, but not that we can say much, but
no. But TBC,
because actually what came out of that,
life-changing,
could possibly be life-changing for us. It will be life-changing for us.
And once it's done deal, you will hear it first.
We leave it there. Yeah. We leave that one there. And hopefully by the next episode, we can update you on it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
leave that one there.
No, definitely. But because we don't tell our secrets.
No. And listen, too many people are out here copying our ideas. So some things we just got to keep for ourselves. Soz, guys.
Soz.
Some things.
You can't be Lejla and Leo.
No, you can't. I always say that to you though, don't I? Like, I don't even know. I don't even know. But essentially, it doesn't matter who tries to copy what you're doing because they're not you and they don't have what's in here.
Exactly. And vice versa.
Yeah.
They're just not us.
They're not us regardless.
No.
And that again is why Trime is priceless and why even just the relationship alone between us is completely invaluable.
Yeah. But also we're just real. We're 100% real. I think people that have met us in real life have always said to us, oh my God, you're like exactly how you're on the podcast. And
but I don't know what people expect from us.
Exactly. But even like my husband, because he's always mostly been there when people have come up and he's like, I admire the way you're just with everyone that comes up to you. And I say, yeah, but because of them, we are where we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
listen, we're nothing without our listeners.
Exactly.
We're absolutely nothing without our listeners and the community that we've built. At the end of the day, we started this with a vision and what it's grown to is insane, and what it's going to grow to is going to be even better, especially now that there's at least one of us doing this full time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited.
Because look at what we've built just with nothing. Look at what we've built with nothing.
I know.
Imagine what we can do going forward.
Exactly. And the conversations we're having and the people we're meeting. It's like, I even said to, like, when I came home to my husband, I said to him, I was like, hey, chica equalicid, bruv. Pequatunet is doing this. Kish menu, hey, Leonardo So I always have to remind myself that we are doing this
Yeah.
and
This
process
is
it
real. Yeah,
and
this is
move on.
real. Yeah.
Process it and move on and go for the next thing and go, because I think we're both the same. Like we achieve something and we're like,
And
what's
then
next?
what's the next thing? Yeah.
What's the next thing? And that's something that I love that we both got, because that's entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
That's literally the kind of attitude, and I guess the drive that you need to have
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur to actually succeed is, I achieve something, what is the next
But what's
thing?
also just as important is taking the time out to be present with what we have achieved.
Yeah.
And I think I couldn't do that. And I can look back on certain episodes we've recorded where I was so consumed by my job that I can see that I'm not present. And it's not
Yeah.
about being inauthentic. It's just about where you're constantly like in fight or flight mode and you're thinking about other things. And I can see where I haven't been able to give it my all.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes 100% sense. But you're here now.
Yeah, we're here now.
You're here now. So
This is, do you know what I mean? Like, we're doing this. We're
Yeah.
doing, I'm fucking, I've told you, I'm doing it.
yes, yes.
There's no going back now.
No, there's no going back. But it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
And someone actually messaged me, because I've been talking about this for like the last week on my Instagram. And one of my followers messaged me something and it got me thinking. She said, it's so nice to see the old you back. I thought you had changed paths and was focusing on Trime, but it's nice to see the drive back and going back to your work with domestic abuse. And I was like, I'd never left my domestic abuse work. And my sole focus wasn't Trime. And then I started thinking that if most people in our community think that we just popped up overnight, as if like we were just overnight went viral. And I started to realize that actually most people in our community don't know that I was doing this work for half a decade before I started this podcast.
Yeah.
Before I met you, before we started all of this.
Yeah.
I started to realize that actually not a lot of people will know that.
No.
The same way that my followers with my domestic abuse work thought that I just completely changed past the Trime. And I said to her, I was like, I never stopped working on the domestic abuse side of things. Maybe I wasn't as public and as forward with it, but I was still working on it behind the scenes. And then I started to realize actually how much of my life I wasn't being open about anymore.
Yeah.
Because I was just exhausted.
You're consumed. Your mind is consumed by everything. How are you supposed to open up when, if you do open up, it's not even authentically you?
Yeah.
You're doing it kind of like superficial way. Not superficial.
I think for me,
but
it's when I feel like I can't be present. Like I feel like there's nothing for me to say.
Exactly.
Because I feel like anything I say isn't authentic. So then I just shut down and I isolate myself.
Yeah.
And that's not who I am.
No.
That's never been who I am. I've always been about sharing my life. I've always been about wearing my heart on my sleeve and sharing my lived experience, because I find true comfort in community and in meeting other people who unfortunately have had the same lived experience or share similarities in lived experience, because it makes me feel like I'm not alone.
Yeah. And it feeds you. Like, it just feeds your emotions. It feeds your intellectual part. You feel like you are part of something and you're not alone. And that's the whole point. And, we get energy from people.
Yeah.
Unless you're, I don't know, get energy from the four walls in your home, but it's a different thing.
No, but you need to be around other people and feel that connection in order to
grow,
evolve. My personal experience and my personal thoughts on this is that without having a connection to a community where you feel like you belong, I don't think it's possible to thrive.
Yeah.
There's so much to be said about creating spaces where you feel like you're a part of and actually being a part of it.
Exactly. Which is why I love the messages that we get from the people from the Trime community. I love them. I love them. Or like I'll post, like I posted that story yesterday.
Which one?
The one like when everyone said no one's gonna marry you with that attitude.
Oh my God, every time I see that trend, I think of you. Every single time.
I posted it because it's so true, because that's exactly what I was told over 10 years ago when I
no one will marry you because of your attitude.
No one will marry me because of my attitude, because just as feisty as I am now, I was feisty then. And loads of people did actually reply back to it and was like, oh, I don't understand. As in, they were telling me their stories.
Yeah.
And it's so, because I've got a very sarcastic humor. Everything dark to me is like just comedy.
Yeah, sometimes like when I'm on TikTok and I see certain videos, I'm like, Leo's gonna find that funny. I need to send that to her. And I'm like, you're gonna find this funny because I've come to learn your sense of humor.
I don't know what it is, but for me, it's maybe trauma. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it probably most likely is.
It's probably just trauma. I just find like stuff that are just so like, I can't believe they did that. I find that so funny.
But do you realize that but you are now that person that people look to be like, I can't believe she's doing that. That they're like for real like that. Because I was listening back to the episode 33, where you were saying about, sometimes I really struggle to talk about myself. And then I watched you last week at the conference we went to, and I was like, big yourself up. All you need to do in this space is be exactly who you are. You are not too much. Like, there are other women listening to you. They listen to you on the podcast and they see themselves in you.
Yeah, 100%. And then you called me like 10 times a day. Where are you, Leo?
I can't find you.
Where are you? Where are you?
Because I was like, I felt like, when you take your sibling somewhere and I was like, oh my God, I've lost her. Is she okay?
Where is she? Where is she gone?
I felt so responsible, just to make sure you were safe the whole time. My girl is off talking to everybody. She's like,
spoke to everyone.
And I'm so proud of you. You were like, I'm just going to go do the rounds.
Yeah, that's what I did. Spoke to everyone because I was like, what am I going to lose? I just spoke to everyone.
It. And that's what I love about you the most, is you're very much like, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
What have I got to... We both are like that. Like, what have I got to lose at this point?
Exactly. What have I got to lose? And I get so much confidence. I'm one of those people that feed off people's energy. So I get a lot of confidence if I go somewhere with someone that I know I'm really comfortable with, because I'm already comfortable. And then I just, hi, I'm Leonardo. But everyone was so nice. They were like, oh my God, that's such a nice name. Know, right? Where is it from? Blah, blah. And then later on I was like, I've got loads of plans for next year. You know this.
I know.
I told you I'm going to do something and you're like, oh, Leo, do it for next year. So
Expo next year,
Yeah, so, but yeah, like my humor is really, really, really dark. And I think a lot of people are just like, how the fuck is she saying these things? But it's just like,
it's who you are.
Yes, and also because I see stuff black and white. Now this is turning into a Leo episode, but because I see stuff so black and white and just so solid, like I don't. That sounds really wrong, but I see them in a way where that's what it is, and it is what it is. I kind of like, like I just move on. But because of that, I have to entertain myself in one way or another. And to do that, I have to like watch funny videos, but not like hoo ha ha funny
like
videos.
slapstick,
But like videos that are like, I brought my mum to Christmas party and the mum's in their urn. Say hi, everyone.
I love those videos.
Like for me, that's like pure comedy.
So I think you have to be like a trauma survivor to find things like that funny.
When I first saw it, I was like, too basic thought. And then I was watching it and I was like, nah, that's funny.
No, it is
it's
funny.
Just funny. And that's just, funny. But a lot of people sometimes get offended by my humor. But a lot of people are like, oh my God, Leo, I love you because you're just so like, you say stuff.
You say things that people are thinking.
Yeah, that people, women wouldn't say.
A lot of women from our community and wider communities wish that they could do this.
Yeah.
I know that. We know that from the conversations. And other women are like, I want to come on the pod tomorrow. And I'm like, yes, come.
Come.
Absolutely.
Are you happy to be in front of cameras? Are you happy? Because obviously we've got a responsibility.
Yeah.
Me and you, we live in safe houses.
Yeah.
We live in safe homes. We've got a safe environment. For us, we're quite unshakable, I think, for both of us. We don't really care. But for everyone else, we've got a responsibility.
Absolutely.
So we always
safeguarding is like our priority with our guests. And a lot of the guests, like a lot of people we talk to, when they say they want to come on, actually we say no a lot of the times, because I understand that it's really exciting,
Yeah.
especially to see yourself represented on camera and then for them to be viral all over the internet, especially on Albanian TikTok. It is exciting,
Yeah.
but also it can only work if you are as safe as you possibly can be, and there's low risk to you to put in your face in front of the camera and saying all these things. The guests that we have on have that freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we had Rita on recently, and for example, a guest like that, Rita has built and created that freedom and safety in her life so that she can be public with her thoughts. So it you do have to give it a good thought if you do want to come onto the pod and, you know, discuss whatever your topics are. But with that said, if you would like to appear on our podcast and you have a topic in mind that we haven't discussed yet, or even if we've discussed it, it doesn't matter, but you would like to come forward and share your lived experience or just discuss a topic and issue at hand, jump in our DMs, send us an email, let us know what it is that you want to talk about, and we can just take it from there.
Exactly, because that's, you know, it's the best.
Absolutely. I feel like I've just had like a whole therapy session with you.
Same,
I've cried, I've laughed, I've told everyone I've given up my job.
We ended it with the mum in the urn joke.
Yeah, things are definitely changing for us.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, let's see what happens next.
Let's see.